From this moment on, you will now be known as Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh-ha-ha!
Welcome, brother Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh-ha-ha!
Enough with the Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh, bub.
What's up, everybody? This is D from Brooklyn, and as I mentioned in the last video, I'm going to give you an update on the Aqua Springs 11 Cube. Yeah, for those of you that aren't following me, you might as well click that subscribe button right now so you can go back to the past and fast forward to the future and see those updated videos and how-to viz and dollar viz and how to operate all these systems on what I would call a moderate budget. We all been through some tough times, and sometimes it can be very overwhelming trying to think of setting up even a planted aquarium, let alone a saltwater aquarium. So here's an up close and personal look at the Aqua Springs 11, which was never meant to be a reef, but so simple it is becoming a reef, or has become a reef, just based on the very easy to care for corals that I added to it. And you can do this yourself. You can do this. There's nothing super scientific or masterful about setting up an aquarium, but there is discipline involved, which means you have to know what you're doing before you just run out and do it, because everything is simple when you see somebody else do it. It's not so simple when you're on the front lines running into mistakes. So here is the Aqua Springs 11, and this is a 11-gallon cube powered by a Aqua Clear, which I'll give you a up close on. There's the Aqua Clear 20, which powers the cube. It is running a small bit of carbon, a Chemipure Blue, which I'll show you in a minute. This is the Chemipure Blue, which is made for saltwater, a little itty bitty nano pack, Chemipure Nano, and the filter sponge for biological. But what it is also running, if you look real close, is you'll see that airline tubing, which powers a sponge filter. Not a lot of people run those saltwater tanks on a sponge filter, but in below it is running a sponge filter way down in the coral corner. But right now you're not going to see it because a mushroom coral actually decided to attach to the filter sponge. So you can see that it is off right now, but I have to go in there and clear it out because the filter sponges in a saltwater tank get clogged. The airline hoses are so small, it tends to get clogged with salt creep. But yeah, this is an 11-gallon tank. Small bit of rock in there, Tonga branch, which I took from the main tank, and some rocks that I took from some older tanks, and some sand. Handful of sand. Nothing was live, just regular reef sand, not play sand or anything like that, but regular very fine sand. If I had it to go back and do again, I probably would not have put sand in this tank just because it's easier to clean. As you can see, it's becomes a little haven for critters, and when you get coral growth where I didn't plan on having coral in here, it becomes hard to clean that, so it becomes an inert area for bacterial to bloom. So once in a while I have to go in there and stir this up with my little razor cleaner here. I'll reach in front of the camera, which is always good. My little razor cleaner here, and I just go in there and stir that up and clean it. But this is a very simple tank. I never intended, like I said, I never intended to have coral in here. This has basically become a grow out area for the overgrowth from the 20 Nano. So you can see all the mushrooms and the waving zinnia. I just put easy to care for stuff in here, with the exception of my little green hammer in the back there. You can see the hammer growing in the back there, and some pulsing zinnia, which I started to put in this tank a long time ago, but it quickly took over and I had to take it out. There's a little bit in the corner, if I can get a good shot. Let me maneuver the camera there. There's a little shot of a little bit of pulsing zinnia, which is not pulsing, but yeah, that is the pulsing zinnia that is in this tank. Okay, now the main inhabitants of this tank, which aren't swimming in the main stream right now because I probably spooked them running up to the tank, are my spotted cardinals. There is my alpha right there, as I just call alpha. Runs the tank and kind of just tells the other one when to come out. Let me see if I can get them to come out for a little bit of din there. I feed them spirulina flakes, some from cobalt here, which they have learned to love. I mix it up a little bit every now and then. There they are. They love the flakes. It doesn't make a mess, and whatever they drop on the floor becomes coral food, which, as it would seem, is a favorite of coral because they are pretty much growing into the center, like the lower of the tank, which is where I feed all the time. So yeah, those are my 2 inhabitants there. It's a small tank, so I'm not adding any more. I did have a sand sifting goby in here, and he just didn't make it. Pretty much becomes a haven from to destroy because the whole bottom of the tank is mushrooms. So didn't make any sense having a sand sifter in there. But anyway, these guys have been in here for quite some time. I'm guessing that this is my male, but I'm not really sure because it's kind of hard to tell with these spotters. This may be the male. The male, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, is the one with the elongated and widened jaw for carrying the offspring. And this one, if you zoom in, alpha is all about the big jaw. It's kind of like Fred Flintstone. Got that big jaw and really wide in the front here. Whereas Shorty in the back is really darkly covered. Spots are darkened and pretty much stays in the background, except when they eat. So these guys are pretty docile until you've had them in a tank for a long time. The cardinals, even the banghais, become a bit aggressive. Let me zoom out. When you have them in a tank for a long time, this one being no different, as you can see, if he doesn't like the other one, it has to go in the corner. For lighting, this light is powered by a full spectrum LED, no name brand. I got it for about 30 bucks on eBay. But really strong light, and the reason I got this one is I had a smaller one which I put over my planted tank, but I wanted a 24-inch light so that I could light everything in this corner rather than having multiple lights. So if you guys have similar issues, because I am a plant guy, I have my plants over here. I had a 2.5 gallon. Now I have this, I forgot how many gallons it is that quick. I'm losing my mind. I think it's a 6 or a 5, but I could be wrong. I go back to my last video. I'm sure I said it in the last video, but you end up with so many tanks, I kind of lose track. It's about a 6 gallon, I think, something like that. But I just wanted to light the whole corner with one light, which this does, and keep it really simple. And you can see some GSP, which has taken over that rock right there, completely become an afro. I have some huge Mexican turbo snails in here, which are hiding right now. One is way in the back. Kind of looks like that rock back there. You can't really see it, but there are 2 of them in here. And the funny thing is when they go down here into the rock, they blend in so much because they have the little barnacles growing on them that you can't tell them from the rock. So I pretty much see them when I see them. I saw them yesterday, and I see that one there behind that, what is a dead bird's nest. Yeah, it's a bleached out bird's nest. And that's it. I have some Pavona here, which isn't doing that good. The Pavona was taking over the 20 at one point, so I started taking it out little by little. This is a really high nutrient tank, whereas I don't do a lot of water changes on it. And since it's so small, I'm just being lazy. But that is the tank. You can do it. Takes discipline. By no means does this mean you can be lazy, especially when you're new into the saltwater game. Pretty much when you're doing things for a while, you test and look, and you can look at your tank and see when things are out of whack. You got to do your basic cleaning, your basic water changes. Like I said, I'm being lazy on this tank because this is 11 gallons. Basically, 5-gallon bucket is a water change. So I'm going to do that today since I said that 3 times that I'm being lazy. And that is it. So click that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, click subscribe. I'd love to hear from you guys and see you guys. And leave your comments below. And you too can start any tank you want. Planted, salt, reef, even guppies. It's a matter of what you plan on doing and taking the right steps to learn how to do it. So next, I'm going to give you the update on how this cube came into existence. If you haven't already heard, I'll get back to you in the next video. This is D from Brooklyn, giving you a shout out to all you guys keeping those aquariums and keeping yourself safe. Love, peace, and hair grease. This is D. I'm out. See ya.